Where's your guy today?
Our intern is fucking...
Yeah, sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not.
He's just fucking off. Like, not doing
anything.
He's
drinking?
No work today.
Like 30% of the ones since he started his internship.
Rich, do you just cut me out of every episode? Like, all of me?
Do you listen? You don't know because you don't listen?
I typically don't listen because I already listened.
I was there. It happened.
All right, Spotify.
All right, so I'm pretty pissed off. So it's that time of year. Spotify is spitting out like your top songs of 2021. Last year, I really enjoyed viewing all my data. I'm a data guy.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, I clicked the fucking slideshow. Everybody else is posting it. And it's like, sorry, can't load. Sorry, can't load. Close the app, shut down the phone, everything. And I don't get, everybody else gets it, but I don't. So
you don't get...
I can see my top songs, but I can't see the whole story of my year 2021.
Like, there's not anything that says 2021 Wrapped anywhere?
No, I don't think so.
It's going to be awesome
So
whenever
I literally
it's
just
sitting
clicked
right there.
It's top songs. It's like
Hold on. Watch. Okay.
Go to your home. Right there, top 2021.
Right.
Yep.
Click this. Couldn't load the page.
Oh, I didn't do that.
I know. I got fucked.
So,
Dude,
That's a bummer.
I pay the premium version too.
Rich, Dan saw yours and he's
I
hating.
actually learned more about you, Rich.
I was actually, I mean, I love all that stuff, but I was like, it was surprising actually. I
Yeah,
have no
so-
idea some of those.
I was actually shocked to find out that your top genre is dance pop.
It's because I'm trying to like make dance pop. Most of the time, that's what happens. One of those artists, do you know Men I Trust? You ever heard of them? That was
I do not.
The only reason that, and I like them, but the only reason that's on there at all is because I had a person reference them for like a mix. So I just listened to it on repeat to try to emulate. That happens a lot. That's cool. Last year was just the Harry Potter soundtrack.
Really?
So
That's awesome.
Really?
I like drive to work every day. And also do you guys do daily drive?
Mm-mm.
The daily drive thing that Spotify does, it'll just play like the songs that you played the most like a couple days ago. So I've just been listening to that all year. So it's like the same songs as last year because it'll just come up.
Yeah.
Like NPR, they put NPR on there by default. So that's my top podcast.
Right.
I
It's
don't
not
like listening
professional
to
development.
Yeah, right. Why aren't you guys on my daily drive? Yeah.
Yeah, what
Right.
the fuck?
That's hilarious.
Dance pop actually made an appearance at number 3 on my top
What is
listen
it?
genre.
What?
Is that
Dance
like
pop.
a
Isn't
bad
that what it
thing?
was?
So wait, no, I didn't.
No,
I
I
was
do
thinking
it-
like punk rock or something.
Punk was on there. Yeah. But I don't really like. Well, that makes me
Where's the
feel good.
genre one?
Even if you're trying to rip me, this
You
makes
go
me
ahead,
feel
Sean.
good.
I know, I'm not trying to rip you.
But I'm
I was
like-
just giving you some shit. So explain dance pop. Is that like Steve Aoki,
No. I would
Oh,
say like Dua Lipa and stuff like that.
Ian
Like
Dior? Do you know who that is?
Dua Lipa.
those are like DJs, right? I'd call that EDM.
Bazzi.
Bazzi, yeah, that's like pop.
What would that
Maybe
be? I like that music.
that's like indie pop. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
Matt.
I like everything.
what was your top? What was yours?
Man, so number 1 is Kanye. I had surprisingly Danny Brown was up there.
What's a Danny Brown?
Da Baby, Gary
Da
Clark,
Baby's not bad.
Gary Clark Jr., Audio Slave, Pearl Jam,
Wow, you're
all over the place.
cultured.
Hell yeah.
Limp-
Gary Clark
Limp
Jr.,
Bizkit.
good for you. Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit, fucking.
Is that really on there?
Oh, he makes it every year.
No,
that's
y'all
fine.
better
Song-
do shit
a song,
right here.
Nookie?
No, his remake of Faith, I put on like every fucking playlist.
You know, it's not my favorite Limp Bizkit. It's that if I say fuck 3 more times, it's 46 fucks in
It's
this fucked up rhyme.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that is a solid one.
My
He went
top-
through and counted all of them.
My top genre
Yeah.
for the year was,
Not
not
him.
surprisingly, jam band.
Mm.
Very, very Bobby Drummond.
No Dave Matthews. You said.
I mean, that is very jam band.
Dave Matthews is jam band.
Yeah.
my number
for
one
sure.
was the Kid Laroi song.
Stay or whatever with
Um,
Bieber.
Hold on.
Without You?
But I like a lot of Kid Laroi.
Mm.
But then everything else was like Morgan Wallen. And I had a Halsey song, which I don't know how that got on there.
Halsey's good though.
I have
You
2
should be so
Halsey
sad.
songs in my
They
top
probably
5.
call that dance pop. I bet.
Really?
Yeah.
I have Alone by Halsey as my number 1 listen to song. It's the first time, and I was saying this earlier, but we weren't recording. This is the first year in like 6 years that Waka Flocka No Hands has not made it into my top 5. So
Damn, dude.
clearly I am not getting fucking crunk enough.
Mm-mm.
I also don't know if
getting
it's
older.
so.
I know.
Do you know who Zaz is? That was
No.
my number 1 artist this year, And I've only listened to her album like one time, but I think it's because she doesn't have that many listeners. She's like a French jazz singer.
Huh.
But like, I don't think I've listened to Zaz that much. Maybe, I don't know.
It is
She's just
weird, 'cause I
infiltrating
actually thought
Spotify
Morgan
and-
Wallen would be all of my top.
Yeah.
Like, and then I have, I do listen to Drake a lot as well. But
Yeah. Do you know Hiatus Coyote? That's on mine every year.
Mm-mm.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
you guys aren't cool enough.
Well,
Dude,
I
we
actually
gotta
thought
follow you
Justin
on
Bieber.
Spotify.
I listen to a lot of Justin Bieber.
That's dance pop. They would
Is
call
it?
that. Yeah, I
Okay.
bet they would say that. Yeah.
So I'm surprised he wasn't up there more.
Bieber's good.
So
Bieber is good. Thank you. We going to the
Brad said
concert?
his top 5, and he's all
Never.
Cody James.
He's coming.
I don't. Big concerts don't do it for me. Like,
No.
I don't know. It just feels like I could just watch it on TV.
what's up?
Yes.
What else?
I don't know.
I got something.
What you got?
Oh shit.
I'm officially getting fat.
I thought your nipples looked a little like
Yeah,
they were popping a
little
little bit.
droopy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm ready to get back to it.
Have you been going to get measured over at
No,
Supplement Superstore?
no, and that's the scariest part about it. So
So you would almost don't even want to go do that until you are back in a routine?
no,
Or
I'll
will
do
you
it
go
right
when you
before,
start?
right before, so I can see how bad I fucked up.
What day is the official start of phase 2?
I think I'm just gonna do it January 1st.
Okay,
Yeah.
right away, New Year's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Hungover as shit.
Yeah, possibly. Maybe I might be doing a volleyball tournament that night, so I don't know if I'll be drinking. So
I was actually going to ask New Year's plans because I have none.
I don't do much, man. I got
5 kids.
We put on. God, this is so soft. It's embarrassing to even fucking say, but I mean,
What do you
we put on this stupid fucking fake one at like 9 o'clock for the kids.
Mm,
That sounds awesome, actually.
yep.
A lot
I
of
don't even
people
have
do it
kids.
now. You just put a countdown on the TV, and then you're like, fuck,
You made it to
All right, go to
midnight.
bed, motherfuckers.
So you don't have to deal with fucking
That's so smart.
yeah, not a bad one.
So volleyball tournament, doubles,
there's
quads.
Doubles. There's a down in Florida. I might be going.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So we'll see. Okay. So last thing I want to talk about. So I was at a wedding this weekend, talking to a longtime friend, her and her boyfriend, and she was all liquored up, and she started talking about this group text that she's in with like all the high school chicks that she's, still friends with and still keeps in touch with. And I was like, that's awesome. Like, you guys still keep in touch after all this time. And she was like, yeah. And all of a sudden she goes, and I just don't know why they talk so much shit on you. And I was like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, they talk about, oh, he's got this professional podcast and what a douche and all this other shit.
Oh my god.
So I was just like, realistically, I was like, so I officially have haters.
Fuck yeah.
And you guys thought I had a big ego before. The biggest ego on the podcast.
I can't believe they talk shit. So I actually ran into this on LinkedIn. Somebody posted some shit like, I'm so over bro sales culture or whatever.
Yeah.
And
saw
so I
that.
respond back like, well, hey, every company has a different culture. You don't have to work there. And then somebody's like, coming from somebody who's the host of the Professional
No.
Development Podcast.
Drop a link. Drop a fucking link of our podcast. Hey, check
I
this out.
go, we literally make fun of our name on every podcast. Have you listened?
That's hilarious. We should 100% drop our fucking podcast link in there.
You should send the minimum skill set, minimum wage, and just be like, if this is you might want to
Oh
think
my
about changing
God.
some things.
I
Yeah.
was due to get torched on that thread.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was just asking for. I thought about commenting on it. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I need to fucking stick up for bros. Like it's my
Hell yeah.
it's my fucking job. But
The culture
So you were
is to be
born
a
to
bro.
do.
I was scared of getting canceled.
So the girls, well, I mean, they're talking about you. So
Yeah.
any
No, I
publicity
just thought
is good publicity, right?
I thought it was. I thought it was hilarious. But she just like matter of factly. She's like, I just don't get why they talk so much shit on you.
You're like,
what?
what?
Huh? But oh well.
That's like the joke. That's what the engineer used to do to me when I was an intern. He'd say, I don't care what everybody else is saying, man. I think you're a pretty good guy. Like, that's the
Yeah,
whole joke.
yeah, exactly.
I hate when people would say that because I always was like, do people not like me?
Yeah, right. That's the
I
thing.
thought it was a
Making
pretty
you
likable
think about
dude.
that shit.
Yeah. What's that?
Making you think if people like you or not.
Yeah, but
That's what they did in that.
So,
golf
but
tournament.
realistically, and not to be like a douchebag, but it's like I haven't thought about any of them in fucking a decade. So
Yeah.
they're irrelevant.
Yeah. I hope that they listen
They probably
to this.
didn't age well either.
Some of them did. I'm a realist. Some of them are pretty fucking hot.
Well, they just hate you.
So how did you react? Were you like, huh,
I
just like,
laughed.
interesting.
I laughed. I very much said what I just said there.
Well, if
Yeah.
they're saying it about you, they got to be saying it about us too.
They probably don't care about who we are.
No, I mean not them, but like
People
other
in general.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a lot of people that think.
Hey, but you know
every
what?
one
We
of
got
us
off our
is
ass.
douchebags.
We started a podcast. We actually did it. They
Oh,
didn't do it, so fuck
Yeah.
them.
No, real.
Top
so-
0.1% of all podcasts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, it's like legitimately, I'm not offended in the least bit. It's pretty funny to me. And like I said, we fucking interview people worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. We started our own companies.
What do they do?
Fuck you do.
Exactly. You talk shit on it.
Yeah.
Good
Work
for
for,
you.
work for the man. That's
Mhm.
what they do.
Yeah.
That's good shit. I like that.
That is really
I love
awesome.
Haterade.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would eat that shit up. That's the only reason why you go to high school reunions.
That's true.
So you can do one of these on them.
What
Yeah.
what else you guys got before we get into the topic? Anything?
Nothing shoot this shit related. Just been busy as shit. Traveling, working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you there. Dan, you got anything?
No, traveling next week for a national golf tournament,
Oh, fuck
national
yeah.
club championship at PJ West. So
Where? Where's that?
it's in La Quinta, California.
La Quintaín.
So we'll see. I haven't been practicing.
Is that what you qualified for because
'Cause I
you won
that,
Sunset?
yeah. So you win the you qualify for the national. You get an invite to the national club championship, and then whoever can make it will go. Like a lot of people just opt not to go.
Right.
but Why wouldn't I go?
I hope that dickbag that you beat that like cussed you out and was trying to fight you on the course is listening.
Yeah, I doubt it. But if he is,
Fuck him.
fuck him.
Fuck them. All right. So today is episode 61, and we are talking about how to make lasting change in any area of your life. We'll start out with quotes. What do you got? Quotes on change.
I got a quote. See, this is where our intern would have came in handy.
Why?
So I have one quote that's kind of out there. Money doesn't change people. Money shows who they really are. By kind of me.
By you? You just fucking quote yourself.
I mean, I don't know who said it. So for now on, if I don't know who said it, I'm going to say it the way I would say it. and then
TM
say
Dan
it's me.
Griner. I don't think you could do that.
That is an OGDG.
Is that legal?
That is an OGDG.
I'm gonna rip the name off my quote.
I said this.
Fuck you, Tony Robbins.
So have you ever heard that before? Have you ever heard that before?
Will you say it one more time?
Money doesn't change people. Money shows who they really are.
What does that mean to
I've
you?
heard some form of that.
Guns don't
You
kill
have?
people.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
kill
I'm pretty sure that this was just you misquoting an actual quote, and then you couldn't remember who you heard it from. So now you're taking.
No. I mean,
99% or 100% of the shots you don't take.
I don't remember
Michael
somebody
Scott.
ever telling me that, but I remember saying it multiple times.
Mm.
Meaning, like, you know, when you're broke, whatever, but all of a sudden you get money. Now you have the ability to be whoever you really are because you have resources, and people get really fucking weird. Look at like Michael Jackson or fucking.
I have heard you say
Michael
this
Jackson.
on the podcast before. To your credit, like I've heard
See?
you say that.
Thank
sentiment
you.
before.
See?
How much did
Fact
he
check
pay
that
you,
shit,
Rich?
motherfuckers.
Okay.
I'm sending him a Venmo. Yeah, request.
Venmo request, $100.
Anyways, I'm just saying, you know, there's an executive. I just don't want to get sued. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been told this, that executive of a very, very large brewery based in St. Louis, Missouri, one of the family members ended up wearing like
Does
women's
it rhyme with mush?
Schmanheiser
Okay.
Bush.
would wear women's pantyhose under his dress pants every day because he just gets fucking weird. What else is there to look forward to? So people, I think, bring out their true selves after they.
I have
Had
money.
nothing
Now
else
I
to do.
can start cross-dressing like I've always wanted to.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Interesting. Bob?
Yeah, I got one here from Andy Frisella. Put a little dollar in the bucket here. So 99% of people let others' opinions and beliefs keep them from ever living the life they want. So I don't know. I mean, Andy Frisella obviously has a lot of quotes about changing who you are and mental toughness, but it goes back to, we've heard a lot of different influencers say this in different ways, but it's the fear of letting someone down, and that's why people aren't actually willing to make the changes that they want because they're like, oh, I don't know what my spouse, my significant other, my mom, my dad, my brother, or what they would think of me. So I think that's a big reason a lot of people aren't making these lasting changes because they're scared of letting other people down.
Nice. Very cool.
What about you?
So, Tony Robbins, if you sincerely want to change your life, raise your standards. What changes people is when their shoulds become musts. That's a big one for me, and it's super relate. I mean, anybody can relate to it, I'm sure. Anything that you've ever wanted to change, it's been because you've been like, okay, I fucking have to do this. You know, there's a lot of times when you want to change and, you know, you might try for a day or two, or you might try for a month and it doesn't work. But yeah, it's a good one. Shoulds become musts.
I have one more.
Is this a DG, an OG DG?
OG DG.
Let me say the quote first.
Okay.
All right, I thought heavily on this one.
Okay.
This is deep.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready
Hold
to
on.
send him a Venmo.
Kicking a habit constitutes a dramatic change, but the change need not occur in a dramatic way.
You've never said need not, so that can't be your fucking quote.
That's my quote.
Confucius
That's
said.
from me.
Shut the fuck
I
up.
fucking hate you.
Actually, it's from an article, but like it wasn't that quote. I just ripped it out of the article and I was like,
And it didn't say who it was
Boom,
by,
that
so
was a
it's
quote.
mine.
So instead, if you would have just changed need
I took a comma
not to
out
don't
of it.
need to, that could have been your quote.
so anyways, kicking a habit constitutes a dramatic change, but the change need not occur in a dramatic way.
You say need not so fucking weird. What is wrong with you?
Oh, I don't speak like I'm from fucking, I don't know, whenever people talk like that.
Damn. It's fucking.
We need not.
So,
Confucius
Can
say.
I let you guys know what this means?
Yeah.
What's it mean to
Since
you,
I
buddy?
compiled this.
Go ahead.
Since you wrote
So
it.
you need to make a dramatic change, but you don't need to do it in one day. Like
Yep.
small steps, right? So that's the not that you need not occur in a dramatic way.
Okay.
The fuck.
Okay.
All right.
So guys,
It's a good quote.
let's you know, I'm just gonna
Bangers.
what?
I only bring bangers to the table.
Bangers
Yeah.
only.
Okay.
GOG.
So,
Whatever
and we put something on our story, which is they say that most people need one of two things to change: inspiration or desperation. Dan need not inspiration. Or
I was born in the wrong generation.
yeah. So, what would you guys say is more of a fucking change factor? That's why we can't do these fucking late episodes. I'm fucking.
Oh, shit.
No, but seriously, Matt, what'd you
Worse
say?
than
Okay.
the tequila episode.
Yeah, no shit. Inspiration or desperation? What do you feel like has been the cause of change in your lives?
It's only been desperation for me. Up until recently, I would say, obviously, with stopping drinking and doing drugs, things I don't do anymore, but knew I needed to make a change as far as that goes. So desperation was a big part in that. And I think it, for me, like that was such a huge, like you talk about the one thing, like the book, The One Thing, I think that's also a great book for how to make any sort of lasting change and build those good habits.
Mhm.
But like asking yourself that question, what's one thing that you have to do such that by doing it will make everything else easier or unnecessary? And for me, that was my one thing is like, all right, I just got to wake up and choose not to have a drink today because I'm not going to be able to accomplish the shit that I want to.
Yep.
So for me, that was a big thing. But now that, I mean, once you knock down that first domino, it just makes it easier to start knocking down some other ones. So I found it easier to become inspired after getting over that hump. But I think that everyone has some form of a rock bottom, whether it's financially, emotionally, physically, and it's just a matter of figuring out what that is for you and then being able to get back from there. So not to say people can't make changes due to inspiration, but desperation is a huge motivating factor.
Yeah, for sure. And I would agree with that. So we actually put out a poll on this on our professional page. They say in order to change, you need either inspiration or desperation. What causes you to change? Our pollsters, inspiration was 71% and desperation was 29%, which I think Bobby would disagree. I would disagree. For me, desperation, obviously, with my story, it was just I hit rock bottom, like you said. I think rock bottom, like, puts your back against the wall and then you start fucking going to work. And then with our Andy Frisella episode, whenever we talked to him and I asked him about like, the dark, the dark side shit, right? Like that was more a desperation thing, I think, than an inspiration. And then after you kind of prove yourself with the dark side shit or with your back against the wall, then yeah, you need to find your why and your inspiration and all these things. But I think that to create actual change, it's more desperation, but it could be either.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. It's desperation. And it's like I can point to multiple, like, so got dumped by a girl, just to clarify.
Sad trombone
I was
noise.
gonna ask.
Not there's anything wrong with if it was a guy. Not there's anything wrong.
Not there's anything wrong with that.
Got dumped, started working out. Like started becoming obsessed with working out. Got dumped again. Got obsessed with self-development. Got fired from a job. And had to move back with my mom and start bartending again for a little bit. It sparked me to start my own company because I didn't want to have anybody else be able to fuck with or tell me, like, have that much of an impact to where, like, they had my livelihood in their hands. So it's all been desperation. I'm sure I've done some things for inspiration, but for sure the ones that stick out. And that's it. It's, when we talk about, like, why a lot of people don't change, it's because they're comfortable, right? And I was actually listening to Jay Shetty today, and he was talking about like people, there's one thing that people really want, it's certainty, right? So people keep going back to that pain, whether it's a relationship, whether it's money, whether it's finances. People keep going back to that pain because it's familiar, and that's how bad they want certainty. So the pain that's certain, even though it's a lot worse for you, is a lot easier to go to than the pain of like not knowing what's going to happen, not seeing, not knowing how to make whatever change that is.
Yeah, and that's interesting. So this guy named William James, he wrote The Principles of Psychology in 1890. He was a Harvard professor, and it was like one of the first like books on psychology published or something like that, according to Google.
Okay.
Anyways, so he says by the age 30, the character has set like plaster and will never soften again. That's a quote from William James, not from Daniel James Griner, but
Okay.
anyways. So in adulthood, as our lives become more constant or more consistent, change is less likely to occur. So as we get older, change is less likely to occur because, to your point and to Jay Shetty's point, I guess, is we become comfortable, right? We become comfortable with that environment. And so because we're now comfortable, change is less likely to occur because we're not going to go outside the day-to-day or that constant and like create that change. So only when an event or something relatively powerful happens, that's what's going to influence someone to change. So I think that's interesting how they kind of correlate.
No, 100%.
And people are, one of the things that this makes me think of, I read this quote like a little bit over a year ago, and people like talk about people wanting to be in control of things, right? And that usually comes with being comfortable with something. It's when they put themselves in uncomfortable situations where they lose a little bit of that control and they just have to have faith. But I read this quote about, and I'm not going to butcher it and then call it my own, like Dan might. But
none of mine were butchered. They were all said perfectly.
It goes back to like if you have like people go back and watch their favorite shows or watch their favorite movies, and like people who binge these old like these Netflix shows that they've seen a bunch of times, and they do it because they control it as far as they know what's going to happen in the beginning, they know what's going to happen in the middle, and they know what's going to happen in the end. And that's where I think people are just refusing to put themselves in those uncomfortable positions, and either whether it's get to the gym, read something they haven't read, or do something that's going to better them. So I don't know. I just found that really interesting that's a big reason that people rewatch a lot of those shows when they're actually like they have anxiety or they are depressed, is because they can control every facet of.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think about that because I hate watching the same show.
I do too.
Over and over. Like once I see something, I
Like,
never want to see it again.
There's a couple that I've binged multiple times, but for the most part, it's like I just don't.
I've stopped. So I used to, and now I used to watch How I Met Your Mother like it was going out of style, and I would like, and it was actually, I went back, and as soon as I read that quote, it made me go back in time a little bit, because I've watched How I Met Your Mother like beginning to end, like And like I was so obsessed with it at a point because when I was really bad with my drinking and I was like depressed and stuff like that, I would literally be so obsessed with it. Even if I just had the audio playing in my car or in my headphones, I was listening to these episodes. And it was because it was something that I felt like I could control because I knew what was going to happen. But I did that with How I Met Your Mother. And then honestly, since I stopped drinking, I've not watched that series at all. And I think I read that quote and I was like, if I go back and watch that, like, not that I wouldn't enjoy it, but I used to watch that thing from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get stuck with that. And it might not be a show. It could be anything that they can control the outcome of.
Yeah. And that's super interesting. I think that all of that shows that desperation is in fact a key to creating change. But to back up a little bit, just like some examples where inspiration can come into play, like your vision board or something like that. Like that's the plan, right? Like you setting that plan and starting to create change.
That's true. So I have then. You know what I mean? So because I've knocked off a bunch of shit from my vision board, and it wasn't because I was like in a terrible spot because of it. What, are you going to talk about the fucking dude with the shirt off, Dan?
Dude,
go ahead.
Dude in the fucking tighty whities. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was already in good shape, and then I got
now you're back.
body fat.
So you put him back on
yeah.
there.
Oh, now I'm a fat fuck again.
So you fucking Elmered him back on the board.
Need to find that inspiration again. Fucking yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, Zach Galifianakis.
What?
And just someone who's in really good shape versus not in really good shape.
Oh. Gotcha.
Maybe that wasn't good.
That's not how vision boards
They
work.
can't all be awesome.
Yeah.
I tried. OGBD.
So what else we got? Go ahead, Dan.
So one thing I want to talk about is I think we all know somebody who we know is capable of more, right? Or is struggling and you want to help them, but you can't fucking help them. Like no matter, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Is that?
Yeah.
You finally got a
Saying
quote right. Holy shit.
Well,
Yes.
I've never heard that one before. I think that was in
Yeah.
OGDG again.
I actually did create that one.
Fucking hell.
But you know what I mean? So it's interesting. It's like, how can you give somebody all the resources to change and help them? Because I've been fucked multiple times on every time I try to help somebody that didn't ask for the help, it basically never pans out, ever.
Yeah.
So I was reading, Mark Manson put out an article called You Can't Make Others Change, and only through manipulation you could make somebody change, but it's going to be temporary and it's not going to be real, right? For a person to truly change, they must choose to change. So I think we all know this. I know, there's a story with somebody who their family had a lot of money, all this. They start hanging out with the wrong person, addiction to heroin. Their parents can basically send them to the top rehab facility in the country, send them 3 times, doesn't work. Why doesn't that shit work, right? Like, we're sending you to the best one, and it doesn't work because they didn't want to fucking go. They just went to not go to jail or something like that.
Right. And they might have hit somewhat of a rock bottom. So then here's my question. Going off that, like, we've all had things that we want to change on, and some people think they do want to change. So why do you think people fail at making those change so often? Besides kind of what we talked about with the, I guess, besides reiterating the facts that we've already had.
So,
Go ahead.
Oh, no. I mean, I was going to say, like, for me, like, let's talk about weight loss, right? Like, I want to lose weight in the back of my mind, but it hasn't meant that much to me or become such a priority that I've actually made that change in my life.
Mhm.
Like, I can talk about it all I want, but I haven't made it a priority to actually do it because there's nothing that's inspiring me, or I haven't gone to the doctor and the doctor's saying, hey, you're going to die if you don't fucking lose weight. You know what I mean? So I don't have the desperation or the inspiration on it. So
Yeah. So it's, and I guess it was kind of a setup here because I wanted to talk about, I actually had a conversation with someone, a guy named Mike Kitko, who's like a personal development coach here in St. Louis. And we were talking and he said, people get in these bad spots. Like, we go from like highs to lows to whatever. Well, during these lows of whatever it is that we're doing or how we're not where we want to be, or where we want to be, we start to take action, right? So we're like in such a depressed or bad state or whatever you want to call it, that we start to take action, start to move the needle a little bit. We start to see progress. And so then that little bit of progress stops us because it's like, okay, I'm good now, right? So I don't need to get all the way here because I got to like, I'm okay. I'm not in a lot of pain anymore, and I don't have the inspiration to keep it moving forward. So I'll just stop here and then kind of yo-yo back and forth. So that's why they like the book, the good, what is it? Good is the enemy of great. So that's why that quote is, I think, pretty important.
Yeah. And one thing I did want to mention is it's very similar to Ed Milet's thermometer, like the way he describes a comfort zone. Oh, I was going to say, I think a lot of people don't start making that change because they're overwhelmed. Where do I start? What do I do? Like, they think that they have to do all these things at once when in reality, they just need to start making little daily changes. And then over time, they can add to that and work on one skill at a time or whatever it might be to make that change. So going back to the quote that I created,
Yeah, exactly.
it need not to be dramatic.
It's going to be plastered on this wall one day.
But anyways, going back to Ed Milet's thing, and the easiest way to describe what Ed says about this is $100. Let's say $100. You used to have $100 in your pocket, right? And you get down to $80 and out of desperation, you're like, fuck, dude, I got to get back up to $100. So you go, you get back into your comfort zone, that $100, your comfort zone, right? And then you have a little inspiration and you go out and you get that to $120. And then you're like, oh, dude, I'm good, right? And then you quit working as hard or whatever you were doing to get the money, you quit doing it as much, and then all of a sudden you go back down to your comfort zone. So I do think that everybody, like, that's probably my favorite metaphor of all
the thermometer.
Professional development is the thermometer, because it's so true. And it's like, I fell into that multiple times with my business. And once I realized, like, that's why I tell myself every day that I'm broke, whether it's true or it's not.
You're constantly turning up the thermometer.
I'm constantly raising that bar, that thermometer peak, right? And so ever since I've done that, which I guess is negative talk, I don't know, but it's helped dramatically.
I think if it's, as long as it's getting you to where you want to be, you're doing the right things. People are motivated by different things, and you motivate yourself differently than a lot of other people would, where people that have that negative self-talk, they wouldn't take the action that you take. So maybe it's not,
I don't
you
even
probably
see it
talk
as,
to yourself nicer than you think you do.
Well, I don't even see it as negative. I see it as talking myself away from comfort, right? Talking myself away from dying versus growing, right? Like, so I don't know. That's just the way I look at it.
So, well, it's what Tim Ferriss says, and I don't know if you've gotten to that part in the book, Bobby, but there's distress and there's eustress, right? Distress is shit that you're putting off, constantly putting off, and it's just huge monster that grows. Eustress is stress that you're putting on yourself, which is needed to grow, right? So you're putting that on yourself, and you can control how much you put on yourself to where it's not completely affecting your mental health, as opposed to the other side of the thing where it's like, fuck, I'm getting in more and more debt, but I'm going to ignore it, and I'm going to ignore it. And then it's just like this big thing that builds up, and before you know it, people are bankrupt.
Yeah. A lot of this goes back to even think about Jason Selk and us talking with him about a relentless solution focus, right? And people ask themselves a question, hey, what's one thing that I can do to make this better? And then take some sort of action, figure out what in 60 seconds, what's one thing that you can do to make it better. And I always tell my team, like, they have all these big goals, which is awesome, but no one's going to wake up motivated. No one's waking up and saying, I'm going to go land a big fucking account today. I'm going to go work with a 1,000-man company. So I always let them know motivation is bullshit. Action creates motivation. So if you want to lose weight, even if you walk for fucking 5 minutes, it's better than not walking for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think you're creating the habit that over time you start adding to,
Right.
So.
And I was on the phone before I came here. I went for a walk before I came here with my weighted vest, because I've been feeling the same way that you have, Matt, where I'm just like, dude, I've been stuck. I've been definitely exercising more than I have been over the last 3 weeks or so. But I was talking to Bryson, who's on my team here, and I set up an LLC a year ago, and I've been finally paying myself and seeing how much more that means to the dollar that I make right now, because I'm able to pay myself. I'm paying less in taxes quarterly, and I'm talking with him about it, and he's like, yeah, man, that seems fucking awesome. And I was like, well, why don't you get it set up? And he's like, I don't know what I could pay myself. And I was like, even if you pay yourself like the tiniest amount, like it's less that you're gonna maximize your dollar that you're making right now. And I had him, I kind of walked him through where to go, and I got him with my CPA that I work with, Travis Gable with Signet Professional Services. He's awesome, not a sponsor, but he booked a time on his calendar before we got off the phone. And hopefully that'll lead him to getting his LLC set up. And it's like, sometimes it just takes that first step. And sometimes you need that push. Like I needed that. I remember I got my LLC because you guys were talking about it so much. And I was just like, I'm fucking doing it. I'm getting it incorporated. So it's just that first step sometimes of figuring out where to start and then just chip away.
Yeah, speaking of which, that I didn't even think about that what a fucking way to change that is right there. Find people that are doing what you want to be doing and just put yourself around them, right? So find yourself surround yourself with people that are going to get an LLC. Dan, you've been fucking hitting Hotworks like crazy. Finally, I rubbed off on you. It only took fucking 2 years.
Really?
You're going to Hotworks?
I never see him up there, so.
Yeah. I'm in one of the valleys, right?
So I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah, so you're not Dan.
We're meeting in the
If
middle.
Dan can
Dan's
do
my
it.
fitness motivation. I'm gonna put a picture of Dan on my vision board.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think that's a great idea.
That'd be desperation, motivation.
I'm gonna need
on
you
your
to take
vision
a.
board.
I'm gonna need you to take a screenshot of your bank account so I can put that on my vision board. How about that?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So going back to you made a point about stress, and that. So I have a question about this because I'm running into this with my team where a little bit of stress is freaking everybody out, and I'm like, guys, stress is a good thing. To me, stress can be a good thing to a certain point, right?
Mhm.
There's unhealthy stress and healthy stress, I would think, but it's like I think stress may be a desperation type motivator, but it's healthy. Because if you don't have any fucking stress, how are you gonna get motivated? Like,
Yeah.
to me, it'd be very hard to be motivated if I had zero stress.
If everything's good, it's like, why fix what's not broken?
Right.
It's like you're just fucking kicking it, you're chilling,
Yeah,
but nobody's like that. Nope,
You gotta
everybody
get
has
them-
stress.
Got to get them focused on those solutions, baby.
but that's the
What's
thing
your
is
problem?
everybody has stress, and so I think one of the things that we're trying to get them to realize is that everybody fucking has stress. It's not just one person that has stress. Everybody has it. How do we deal with that? How do we turn that into a motivator?
Yeah. Well, what Bobby said, have them focus on solutions. Like, okay, what are you stressed about? What can we do about it? What can you do about it first? And then what can I do? What can we do to help?
That's a big thing that I've talked about with my team too, and I talk about that in my interviews with people. It's one of my questions that I asked is, what's a time where you felt one of these negative emotions, and what have you done to do it? Because Selk talks about the nasty six, the times where you feel fear, anger, stress, anxiety, depression, or guilt. And if you're ever feeling those different things, your brain is releasing cortisol, causing you to perform poorly and act irrationally. Versus if you become solution focused, your brain starts releasing the serotonin, the dopamine, the norepinephrine, and you start to perform better and behave more rationally. So, I mean, shoot, that'd be probably the biggest thing that they could do is figure out, all right, how can they come up with solutions in 60 seconds or less, implement them. If they don't work, fuck it, back to the drawing board and do it again.
Yeah, I've just been on a tear of being like telling everybody they're soft, basically. And I mean, yeah, I know that's an aggressive way to look at it,
Right.
but making them realize that their problems aren't problems.
Real problems.
Yeah.
Right.
You know
They're
what I
not as
mean?
big as they could be, and the solution is not as far as away as they're making it seem.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, it's still a support system, things like that. I'm not just like ripping them, but at the same
You're
time,
fucking weak.
I am calling them fucking butter. I
Yeah.
was like, am I fucking Betty Crocker just swimming in butter today?
Good. Fuck it. Sometimes people need that.
But
Yeah.
anyways,
But yeah. So you guys got anything else in particular you wanted to talk about?
I had a couple other things in my notes. So PTG, post traumatic growth. I think we talked about that a little bit, where you get to a certain point in your life. I actually have been telling people that it's age 25, but it's actually around age 30 that your brain stops developing. And so at that point, we talked about this. Life becomes consistent, it becomes constant, and for change to happen, it would be post-traumatic growth would be transformation after trauma, right? After you experience something in your life that says, "Holy fuck, I need to make a change." And so I think that's where you see really, really big life changes, like a divorce, a death in the family, you go to the doctor and you're told if you could die from something if you don't make a change in your health, or that's the post-traumatic growth. So I wrote that down, and that's all I really had other than anything else.
Yeah. I think I think just to kind of put a bow on it, it always ties back to, and this is like the ultimate self-development cliche thing to say, is having a purpose, right? Is having a why behind why you want to change, whether it's putting some stress on yourself or whether it's getting inspired. It's just one of those things where it's like, we like consistency. We like knowing what's going to happen. We like knowing what's in front of us almost all the time. So unless you have some type of motivation to actually make the change, to complete and like to get to the level of wherever you want to be, it's never going to happen. You're going to keep yo-yoing. So it's either be comfortable with where you are, right? Or find a why, or wait till you get desperate enough that you're like, I fucking have to do this.
Yeah, and one other thing, I did find a piece of information that's actually good news, and I was surprised about this. More people quit addictions than maintain them. So I was surprised by that, because I think people that do quit addictions are, extremely strong people to be able to make that kind of change. So I thought that was a good, positive thing out in the world.
For sure. Would not expect that either. Where did you find that quote?
American Psychology Association.
Seems legit. All right.
I mean,
We'll have
if it's
Sal.
on the internet.
We'll have Sal fact check it.
Yeah, eventually, if Sal ever fucking
check
shows
it.
up.
Squeeze.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we will see y'all later next week.
Later, y'all.
Later, y'all.
Gators.
Later, Gator. Armadillo.
Deuces.